For almost half a decade, I have used an Oura ring to track my sleep and recovery. And after 4 years, I've decided to stop wearing it, and there is a very specific reason why. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you why I decided to stop wearing it. And by the way, my name is Dan Go. I help high-achieving entrepreneurs transform their bodies with ease and minimal stress. And here's the reason why I stopped using the Oura ring. Now you may be wondering, what the heck is an Oura ring in the first place? Well, an Oura ring is a sleep tracker, and it actually fits around your finger, and it tracks your sleep, it tracks your recovery, it also tracks a little bit of your fitness stats, things like respiratory rate, things like resting heart rate, and also your HRV. Now there is another device out there that also tracks similar things, which is called the Whoop Band, and then they have a whole slew of other trackers. Samsung just came out with one, and also they have a mattress, I believe it's called 8 Sleep, that also tracks some of these metrics for you. Now the reason I started using the Oura ring in the first place was because of the fact that ever since I was a kid, I had horrible sleep. I would have trouble going to sleep in the first place, and then right when I got to sleep, I would have trouble staying asleep. And if there's anything that we know about sleep, especially when it comes to sleep deprivation, it's bad. It can lead to not only short-term effects of just low energy, mental health issues, and increased appetite, it can also lead to long-term issues, things like Alzheimer's, heart disease, dementia. Sleep deprivation is probably one of the worst things that you can do to your body, and I have heard this one time where it's, you sleep for 1/3 of your life. It is going to be something that you're going to be doing every single day, so why not make it the best thing possible? So that is the reason why I got the Oura ring in the first place. It is to test things out and to track the things that I did to my sleep. Now the really cool thing about the Oura ring is the fact that it tracks a ton of metrics. It tracks the latency, which is the time it takes for you to go to sleep. It tracks your deep sleep, it tracks your REM sleep, and a whole host of other metrics that are going to inform you through an algorithm to show you whether or not you had a good sleep or bad sleep. And being completely honest, this thing has changed my life. I did previous videos on this. I actually did one video on the 5 fitness things that changed my life. I've also did a video on 5 things that changed my sleep. The Oura ring was at the center and the forefront of all these because it has had a tremendous impact on my life, and I do recommend that people use it, with a little bit of a caveat that I'm going to get into a little bit later into this video. Now here are some things that I found through tracking my sleep. Things that have improved my sleep have been mouth taping, glycine, the supplement glycine, magnesium L-threonate, and blue light blockers right before I go to sleep. And I also found things that have harmed my sleep. Things like eating too soon before I go to sleep, things like alcohol, evening workouts, or even opening up email right before I go to bed, which charges me up and actually stops me from sleeping as well as I should. Now, the biggest reason why I stopped using the Oura ring is because of the effect it had on my psychology. So when I would get a great sleep, I would look at it and be like, okay, cool, I'm ready to go. If I got a poor sleep score, then I would actually feel a little bit down. I would feel a little bit like I was lacking energy in a sense. I was letting a piece of technology dictate how I was feeling. And also, sometimes I would feel amazing. I would wake up out of bed, I would jump up, and I would feel just totally great. And then I would look at my sleep score, recovery score, and it would show me something totally different. And then that would have an effect on my mindset. So something that we have to realize is that sometimes the psychosomatic effect of getting these poor scores can have an effect on our overall mood and how we feel. Now, another thing I found is that these sleep trackers can be inaccurate. Now, something you have to know about these trackers in the first place is that, while they do include measures like your heart rate and also REM and deep sleep, they all lack the most fundamental component of tracking your sleep, which is through polysomnography, and it's through your brain waves and the eye movement for REM sleep. And meta-analysis actually found that sleep trackers are only about 78% accurate, identifying sleep versus wakefulness. And this drops to 38% when they're tracking latency. Also, something that I've noticed with the Ring and also tracking things like with the Whoop band is that the HRV readings are highly inaccurate. And then using something like this to track your HRV, probably, and I'm gonna say it is, the worst way to track your heart rate variability. Now, I'm not gonna get too much into heart rate variability. I'll save that for another video, but something that you have to know is that HRV is a good way to indicate recovery scores. But if you're not getting accurate scores, you won't necessarily know how recovered you are on a daily basis. One of the best ways, by the way, to track your HRV is through a chest strap, either through Polar or Morpheus. I'll leave a link to those in the description below. Also, one of the things that you have to know, especially when it comes to this data around your sleep, is that you will use the data to inform your behavior and decisions. But once you get that information, that data actually becomes mentally taxing, especially when it comes from inaccurate sources. Don't get me wrong, the Oura Ring has actually improved my sleep 10 times. It's actually made my sleep the best it's ever been. But once you have tested everything, once you have done the things to improve your sleep, once you have the things that inform you of what contributes to good sleep, that data becomes mentally taxing. And lastly, one of the reasons why I stopped using the Oura Ring or the Whoop band is the basic reason because I think that charging a recurring charge just to have access to your data, I think it's so irrelevant and I think it's predatory. So I do think that every single hardware company is trying to turn into a SaaS company where they can charge you a monthly subscription so they can keep you on kind of like their payroll, so to speak. And to charge a monthly subscription for getting your data in the first place, I just find that that's a little predatory. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped using these. And one thing I should mention is that I got grandfathered into using the Oura Ring without having to pay the monthly, but then I still stopped using it because I just don't agree with their business model. Now, if I were you and you were looking to improve your sleep, what would I do differently? Well, number one is that these are still useful tools. And the amazing thing about sleep is the fact that it gives you instant biofeedback based on the things that you did the night before. So what I would do is I would use this for about 6 months to a year. I would collect all of that data. I would test different things out with my sleep to see what worked, what didn't. And then afterwards, I would put it back in the box and I would stop using it. And if you need to use it, you can bring it out periodically from time to time to make sure that you are just doing the right things, especially if you find any kind of like disturbances with your sleep, you can do that. But again, for the most part, it's best to just get all your data and then after you get it, you can just let it go. So the Oura Ring and sleep trackers have improved my life to a large degree, but there does come a point where you have enough information on what leads to good sleep and what doesn't. And if you are looking to improve your sleep, I did a video that you can check out right about here that teaches you everything that I did to 10x my sleep and to make it so much better. And you can check it out by clicking over here. See you there.